to the Social Networking Coffee Hour. My name is Joshua Decker. I am the Director of Search Engine Optimization and Social Media Marketing with Local Directive. And what we do during this time is we look to very intentionally give you some actionable items to help your business leverage social more intentionally. And that's the first 20 minutes to half an hour. And then the rest of the time, what we aim to do is really give you an opportunity to ask questions, whether it's with what we're talking about today or things that you're experiencing or things that you want feedback on. Pretty much I am in front of the firing line, and you can just hit me with whatever you've got, and we'll help you move forward with whatever you're doing from a social marketing perspective. And we do also, for those joining us by live stream, thank you for joining us. We do take questions by our Facebook page, so please go ahead and log on there. It's facebook.com/local directive, but you should already actually be there. Just make sure you check in, say hi that you're there, and if you have questions, jump in, and we'd be happy to answer those for you as well. So this morning, what we're going to talk about, we spent a couple of months really looking at Facebook. And I've been promising that we were going to look at Google Plus for a while, and we haven't done it because of all the wonderful changes that Facebook has thrown at us. So today we're actually going to take that opportunity, and we're going to look at Google Plus. What we're not going to do today is look at how to set up a Google Plus brand page. What we need to do before we look at execution is look at planning, right? So should we? Why should we? What are some of those things that should be considered when determining what next marketing channel to get into? So just out of curiosity, do you guys have a Google Plus brand page? Is it something you've considered at all? Yeah. Okay, so this is actually perfect timing. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to actually talk about today is, first off, if I can get it to come up, there we go. What's the hesitation with Google Plus? Because there is, among a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, hesitation with integrating with Google Plus. What's the risks? What are the risks involved? What are the benefits or the potential benefits that you can achieve by leveraging Google Plus? And then also, how do you decide to move forward, or deciding when you should move forward? So first, let's look at some of the hesitations. So when we think about Google Plus, one of the things that people who've been around Google for a while know is that there have been a lot of different things that Google has tried to do. What do we know Google does very well? Google does search really well. And what they're starting to see is a lot of opportunity in other areas, and maybe the risk of the search market starting to decline as people move more towards social. And you see some of the social platforms moving more toward wanting to get involved with search. So it's kind of the back and forth between the two companies. And so with Google specifically, for people who've been watching them for a while, they understand that there's been a history of Google products that some have worked well. So like Google Docs is something that's been integrated with pretty well. Google Groups has been a pretty good success. Google Calendar, Gmail, those are all products that Google has launched that have done really, really well. But then there's also a slew of products, especially around the social end, that Google has tried in the past and have really kind of fallen on their face with. And some of those products include, Google Answers, which was Google's version of like Yahoo Answers, except that you had to pay for it, where Yahoo Answers was free. Google Wave, Dodgeball, which was an acquisition they made in 2005. It was the precursor to Foursquare, and actually Foursquare is now dominating that, and Dodgeball is no longer being developed. Jaku, which was kind of a haiku version of Twitter before Twitter got to be really popular. Google Buzz, which just recently went away as it integrated with Google Plus, which was another Twitter alternative. And so there's all these products that Google has tried to use in the past that have really gone nowhere. Had a few people that got really excited about them really quick, had a few people that adopted it and tried to use it, and then it just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Now, what we've seen with Google Plus, and we'll talk about this more in a few minutes, is a massive marketing effort around it. So there's been a lot of press last year that the 2011, it's 2012, right? Yeah, okay. The 2011 bonus structure across the company was all tied to the success of Google Plus. We've seen Google Plus being used in TV advertising, in collaborative ads with mobile phones and those kind of things. Come on in and join us. We're just getting started. So, we've seen a lot of marketing as Google has really tried to make this something that, something that people are going to use. So what's some of the other hesitation? Well, it's that question. Are people actually going to use Google Plus? We know Facebook. We know Facebook has 850 million active monthly users. So that number of people log in at least once a month to interact with Facebook, and about half of those log in on a daily basis. And so it's the question of, gosh, as a new network, are people actually going to pick this up and run with this, or is it going to become like any of the other or many of the other Google social products, where it just ends up falling flat on their face? And then, is it going to drive business? And really, for a lot of small business owners and medium business owners, that's the key right there. If I'm going to invest time into this social platform, is it actually going to drive business? And how is it going to do that? And so we're going to look at that. So what are the risks? Well, the first risk is obviously time. Anytime you launch into a new, good morning, a new marketing channel, it's going to take time to do so, especially in the social realm, right? And so it takes a lot of time investment to get into something, especially something that's just burgeoning. Do we have that time? Is it time well spent? The next thing is, money. It does take money to develop social, especially if you're not the owner of the business and you're working on it, it's costing the business owner money, right? A lot of times there's some graphic element to this social development. And so that, if you're going to do it well, takes, the services of a professional graphic designer, to have a very good presence and look to your page. And so, you've got to be able to evaluate, gosh, do I want to invest that money? There's the risk of, gosh, there could be no return on this investment. I could invest the time, I could invest, some money into it, and I may not get anything out of it. I may connect with people, but I may see no bottom line increase to my business. And so that's, again, a big hesitation, not just with Google+. When I talk to business owners across the board, social-wise, that's one of the big questions. Am I going to get a return on this investment? Or is it just one of those things that's, maybe good to do, but isn't really going to do much, in terms of building my business? And the last thing is, especially with Google+, am I going to build relationships on this platform and it's not going to be around in a year or in 2 years? And then I'm going to have to start over on some other social platform. And so that's a big risk, especially given the history that Google has. But what are the benefits? So the benefits, first, it is a burgeoning network, right? And so we're starting to get to that point where it's no longer being on the front end of the early adopter curve, but you're still there. Once you start getting to the level of Facebook, you're now kind of behind the times, because everybody's there. There's lots of businesses who figured out how to do it well. So Google Plus is kind of, the way I read it on one article was, it's like the Wild West of social marketing, right? There's no rules, which is true for most social marketing, right? And people are still trying to figure out, how do I make best use of this? And so you can be on the front end of that. As people start adopting it, if that happens, they're going to be able to find you. If you wait for people to adopt it, then what happens is, as they start adopting it, if they come looking for you and you're not there, they may not come looking for you again. And so that's one benefit to doing it. Another thing is, it does integrate with the other Google products. So it does integrate with Gmail, it does integrate with Calendar and with Google Docs and with those things. So whatever the other Google products are that you use, you can integrate it with your Google Plus account. So that means easier collaboration with your team. It means easier distribution of materials to the people in your circles. So those are all good things that you can leverage with your brand page. The other thing, which really has nothing to do with the social marketing element of it, is Google Plus is tied directly to now the search algorithm. And so what does that mean? It means that when somebody goes on to Google, if I have a Google Plus account and I do a search and I'm signed into my Google Plus account, anybody that I'm connected to who has recommended a site that is relevant for that search, their results are going to show above the organic results. So even though I may have a fully optimized website, even though I may have, a very dynamic website, if I have nobody who has +1 my website, but my competitor does, and everything else is equal, then they're going to show above me, because social signals are now part of how Google ranks websites. It's also one of those things where you can get more dominance on the search page. So if people are out there talking about your business on Google Plus, or reposting things that you've posted on Google Plus, it's now showing in the Google search results along with the organic websites. It's what they call social search. And so you can take up more real estate on any given page. So if I have Google and Facebook and my normal website and LinkedIn out of the top 10 results, I can potentially control 4 just with my profiles. Four to 6 depending on how many social networks you engage. If people are talking about me, I can control more than that. So the real estate on the page that I can own is much greater if you integrate with this. And again, that's more to do with your search engine marketing strategy than your social marketing. If you're not actually engaging it from a social perspective, it's not going to have as big of an impact on your search. But when you do the two together, it does create a synergistic effect. What's going to be interesting to see down the road, going back to some of the risks, is if this sticks, if it doesn't stick, how are search signals going to, or social signals rather, how are they going to impact the search results? In Bing, it ties with Facebook, right? So Facebook likes ties into their search algorithm. With Google Plus, they don't like Facebook. So they created their own thing, right? Because they want to be the monster giant that does everything. And so their own social signal is what they look at. And so if this fails for some reason, how is that going to impact their search algorithm? We won't know until it happens. If it happens, it could take off. What we're seeing right now is that there has been an increase. What the big question is what's the engagement level in Google Plus, right? That there's not a lot of data available on that right now. So that's just something that we're keeping an eye on. So deciding when to move forward. How do you know when to actually get into Google Plus? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to evaluate what is your current social marketing strategy and how is it working. So if your current strategy says, I want to use Facebook, are you engaging people on it? Are they engaging you? Are you using it well? And if they're not, then what you need to look at is, okay, am I on the wrong platform, or am I not doing it in a way that's going to increase engagement? Because if you take the same approach and move to a different platform, unless you know for sure that your audience is on that platform, then you're not going to see any more success. And just given the sheer volume difference of users between Facebook and Google Plus, I wouldn't give up on Facebook for Google Plus if you're not seeing Facebook work for you. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So evaluating that current social engagement. The next thing is you want to ask yourself, and this is true not just for Google Plus, but before you jump into any new social platform, is, gosh, do you have the bandwidth for additional development, right? In other words, do you have the time and the resources to dedicate to building a new social platform? Because it does take a lot of time. You have to let people know that it's there. You had mentioned to me that you're trying to get the word out. Hey, we have a Facebook page, right? So you have to let people know that it's there somehow. That is its own little marketing endeavor in and of itself, right? You have to have the time yeah, exactly. The Facebook on the window. For local businesses with brick and mortar stores, that is a great way of advertising. I've seen some where they use a QR code. So as people come into the store, boop, I can scan it and either check in or like the business right then and there. I don't have to search for it. So that's a really nice thing as well. But you got to evaluate, what is that bandwidth feature? The next thing is, are you in a place to invest in future development versus what has been demonstrated to be effective? So if you're not really engaging in social right now and you're trying to figure out, gosh, what platform do I really want to go to? Google Plus, because of the volume of users right now, it's really more of an investment into what may be coming down the road. And anytime you invest in what may be coming, it's either going to come or it's not, right? And so it's an investment that may not realize a return. Versus, do you want to go where people are at right now, but may end up dying down the road? Like, there's a lot of articles I read that say, Facebook is dying. I don't personally see that. There's no evidence of that yet. There's no competitors really in the marketplace yet. No legitimate competitors. Once there becomes that competitor, there's going to be some very fun times watching what happens, right? But right now, as a business, I look and I say, there's no legitimate competitors for what Facebook offers from a social perspective. And so if I'm going to look at where am I going to invest time, if I want to develop relationships now and see that impact my business now, Facebook is probably going to be where I'm going to go. If I want to put some toward the future, I'm going to do both. Invest in Facebook now, as well as invest in Google Plus now, and just split my resources. And not necessarily an even split, because again, Google Plus is more of an investment toward the future than building it up right now. Facebook is going to be more of the building it up right now and trying to make impact on it. So it's that determination of really what is your end goal, you know. So that's those are really the big things to consider when you decide, gosh, am I going to move forward with Google Plus or not? Now, there is a lot of stuff out there. I'll get it up on the Local Directive Facebook page, where you can learn how to build your brand page. You know, the step-by-step, here's what you need to do to build your brand page. So I'll get that up and available so you guys can, you know, take a look at it. And if you want to get into it, basically when you look at the Google Plus page, let me pull it back open here. What we see is it kind of looks like an older version of the Facebook business page, right, on a Google platform. So a lot of what you're going to end up doing with it is very, very similar to what you would have done with an old Facebook page, as opposed to the new timeline. You know, so it's not going to be horribly difficult if you've done those kind of pages before. So next month, well, actually, you know what? Let me stop. Do you guys have any questions on Google Plus specifically? No? Okay. Not overwhelmed? Yeah. About wow, I didn't know that Google was sending stuff out regarding Google Plus. So for those of us joining us, for those of you joining us by live stream, Google has apparently been sending direct mail to local businesses regarding getting involved with Google Plus. Was that tied, just out of curiosity, with some sort of promotion with AdWords or AdWords Express? Okay. Okay, I can look at it later. That's fine. I'm just curious. I've heard a lot of marketing going out recently around the AdWords Express product, which is a pay-per-click marketing product that they have. And so, but I've not heard of any direct marketing on Google Plus. That's going to be interesting to take a look at it. Okay, perfect. Let me see if we've got any questions coming in by Facebook. So if you're joining us on live stream, please feel free to send us any questions that you have. Let me put something out here really quick. There we go. Okay, so real quick before I open up for just general questions, what we're going to talk about next month, have you guys heard of Pinterest? Yes. Have you heard of a product called Pinterest? You know, they say there's a way, like it's not like you can just get on and sign up and then you have instant access. When I signed up a couple months ago, it was like less than 24 hours. And I had an invite. So it's one of those little things to make you go, oh, am I going to get in? And then you get it. And so it's like a non-event, you know, in my mind. I've not heard of people waiting for very long to get involved in it. So what we're going to talk about next month is Pinterest. And what is it? What can we do to leverage it for business? I mean, really what it comes down to, just to give you a 30-second overview or less, it's a social site that focuses around images, people sharing images. And so especially for your business as a coffee shop, man, that would be something that you can leverage. And it integrates with Facebook, it integrates with Twitter. So, you know, as we talk about integrated social marketing, it makes it very easy to do that. But man, people love sharing pictures. A lot of what I see being shared, by the way, is food. So it's right up your alley. So we'll talk about that next month and how to leverage it. Also, I want to make sure that I put out there, if you'd like to connect with us, we are on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and also Local Directive is on YouTube. I do not have my own YouTube channel. So here's how you can reach out to us. LinkedIn, you can reach out to us there. Facebook.com/Local Directive, Twitter @Local Directive, or on YouTube.com/Local Directive. And there's my contact information if you'd like to connect with me individually.